This is the 4 Minutes 4 Horror Movie Catch-Up Part 2. Ready?
Hereditary.
The tone is handled excellently, the blurring of narrative levels works pretty well, and the acting holds it all together. On the surface level, the horror elements are very creepy and unsettling, and I like the slow burn of learning more about the occult elements at play, making characters question their sanity and the sanity of others while dealing with this tremendous loss in their family. My one gripe would be that I've seen this movie before where the protagonist struggles to fight this force trying to control her life from the outside. It was called Rosemary's Baby, and I feel the subtext of that movie is a good bit clearer and a lot more decisive than Hereditary, so let's get into that. Hereditary, as the name suggests, heavily leans on the mental health angle. I feel that subtle subtextual elements were lacking. I don't think there's a ton more to say about it than it could be about mental illness. It felt like another A24 horror movie to me, like The Witch, though I did enjoy this one much more. Riding the line between reality and delusion until falling into place at the end in this dark, foreboding way. Maybe it's about mental illness, maybe it's about gaslighting. I would recommend it, but I don't think it was as great as everyone was saying. 6 out of 10.
The Conjuring.
The same basic layout is here, focusing on the real-world ghost experts, the Warrens, as they aid a family being tormented by a violent spirit. There's a lot more depth, a better variety of scares and uses of the antagonist, and it overall holds my interest better while not climbing much higher than a normal Hollywood horror movie. It's devoid of any deeper meanings, unlike Us and Hereditary, so if that's something you're looking for, you might not dig this one. It's also questionable in its rules, something I always nitpick when there's a clear antagonistic force. Namely, I don't like when a specific place is haunted and yet it can influence people in places anywhere in the world, like when the demon torments the Warrens in their house. 6 out of 10.
The Haunting of Hill House.
Unlike the rest, 2018's The Haunting of Hill House is not a movie, rather a Netflix series about the Crane family who, you guessed it, lived in a haunted house when they were young where their mother died under mysterious circumstances. The family is slowly drawn back to the house through tragedy, forcing them to reunite and face the horrors of their past. Since it's a longer format, you get way more time with the characters, so people like Theo and Luke really stuck with me, and the hardships the family goes through hit a little harder. There's some fantastic scares and building tensions, fun cyclical time shenanigans, and reveals that were executed really well, especially with the bent neck lady. And on a technical level, there's a lot to like too. The episode that was done in only a handful of shots was really impressive, and honestly, bravo for being one of the best mixed shows or movies that I've watched in a while. I didn't have to constantly ride the remote to anticipate loud noises after really whispering dialogue. There are a few aspects holding it back for me. Often when characters have a big monologue, it sounds very samey and pseudo-deep with the same exact flow as every other character instead of having a unique voice of their own. It does the thing where its influence can be felt anywhere in the world, which I don't like when it's a static place. The malevolent spirits of the house kind of just step aside and let the mom doom the house. Those things aside, I do highly recommend this one. 7.5 out of 10.
It Follows.
There's two things I really latched onto in my reviews of horror movies: the tone and the antagonist. And man, It Follows just nails those things for me. The omnipresent sense of danger, the lingering and creeping in the background, and it's something you can kind of discuss and hypothetically make a plan for it in a purely logical sense without robbing it of its constant dread. And it all doubles as a sexual metaphor, whether it's sexual guilt or STDs or sexual assault. I did enjoy the movie's portrayal of an ambiguous time frame with hints of modern and 80s and very classic 60s shots, but the synth score felt a little too on the nose for me with the whole kids on bikes 80s feel. And the protagonist isn't immune to being a stupid horror lead, whether it's turning her back to the path that the monster is probably coming at her from, or sleeping exposed on the outside of her car no matter how far away she thinks she is. Regardless, I really like this movie. I'm definitely gonna watch it again, and I highly recommend it. 8 out of 10. And done.